Thank you so much.
Wendy Sellers. I am a happy ASHA member, and I would like to welcome you to the ASHA webinar. Um, and First, let's do a little bit of background information. The mission of the American School Health Association is to transform all schools into places where every student learns and thrives. And we envision a future where healthy students who learn and achieve in safe and healthy environments are nurtured by caring adults functioning within coordinated school and community support systems. Some of the membership benefits, should you choose to join ASHA, or if you already are a member, you know these are your benefits. You receive the Journal of School Health. You get CEUs that are free to you, such as this one today. You get discounts on AAP publications and to the Sex Ed Network, and you can access job postings in our Career Center. And also you have the advantage of information and expertise by networking with lots of professionals across the country at our annual conference and in a bi-weekly newsletter. I'd like to let you know also that we are planning a very exciting 2020 virtual conference. It will meet September 30 and October 1st. Registration is open now, and we are really excited to have live out the registration and sign up soon. And I'm so happy to introduce today's presenter. Betsy Nilan is the president of the Get in Touch Foundation. Betsy stepped up as president of the Get in Touch Foundation in April 2016 after Marianne Wassel, her mom and founder, passed away. Inspired by her mom's legacy and with years of experience working side by side with her, Betsy reached 1 million students with the free Daisy Wheel in 2018. In June 2019, Betsy launched the Daisy Wheel app. Betsy is a graduate of the University of Virginia, where she received her bachelor's degree in anthropology. In 2016, she received her master's degree in women's studies from Southern Connecticut State University. And I'd like to turn it over now to Betsy.
Thank you so much, Wendy, for the kind introduction. Like Wendy had mentioned, my name is Betsy Nilan, and I'm president of the Get in Touch Foundation. So we are a global breast health nonprofit, and we focus on educating everyone on the importance of and how to do breast self-exams for life. Before we get started, I did want to thank ASHA for this opportunity to speak to everyone today and share our free breast health resources to everyone. Since that's what we do, we give resources to school nurses and health educators, especially in a time of COVID-19. We've seen an increase in demand for digital resources, so we are just here to help. But before we dive into my presentation, I did want to ask a few questions just to see what the audience is feeling and what you have done in the past. So Caitlin, the first question that I have for the poll for the Zoom meeting would be, have you ever done a breast self-exam? So you can answer yes or no, but I'll give you a minute to do that. Okay, maybe 10 more seconds and then we'll close the poll. Okay, Caitlin, we can close that one there. Okay, so mostly everyone, so 88% of people have done breast self-exams. Now, follow up to question number 2 would be, have you ever taught breast health? All right, and I'll give you 30 seconds to answer that one. All right, Caitlin, I think we can maybe close the poll there. All right, so most of the attendees have not taught breast health, which is really helpful for me going into this. So we can stop sharing those right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. All right. Okay, so the slideshow that I actually have up right now is the Get in Touch Foundation's Educators Digital Toolkit, which everyone can order free online, and you'll receive almost instantly. So it covers a few things. It covers the 8 necessary steps of doing a breast self-exam. It covers a little bit about our history, why we do the work we do, how we started, just some general background. And then our instructional video, which is an 8-minute long video that was filmed in a classroom with a school nurse teaching our Daisy Wheel program. And then some fun quiz questions and discussion questions as well. So it's important to note that all of this is customizable. And if you choose to not include a certain slide, that is up to you. We're just giving you the tools and this is your presentation. So I thought it would be really great to just use this presentation as a way to walk through how we encourage people to teach breast health, and at least give you the right tools to be able to say, I want to use this, I don't want to use this, or I want to use this based on age and grades. So our program is actually free for school nurses and health educators, teaching breast health for grades 5 through 12. So there's many different ways that you can teach breast health. So you would teach breast health differently to a 5th grader, well, very differently than you teach to like a 12th grader. So we have all the tools and you can figure out which ones you want to use. So the learning objectives of this presentation would be, number 1, the student can summarize what the Get in Touch Foundation does. Number 2, they can summarize the 8 steps of how to do a breast self-exam. And lastly, they can explain why doing a breast self-exam regularly is important. So a little background on who we are. So we are a passionate nonprofit specifically focused on providing free and accessible information, empowering everyone to make breast self-exams simple, appropriate, and routine. So we're an established local organization with a global reach. So we've reached over 1 million students in all 50 states and 34 countries with our free Daisy Wheel tool that teaches how to do a breast self-exam, which is pretty cool. So we will continue to touch lives, eliminate barriers, and effectively lead change one life at a time. And that's our mission, and that is our work, and that is who we are. So everyone's probably wondering, well, how do we start? Why are we here? Why are we teaching breast self-exams, and why is this important to us? So the Get in Touch Foundation started back in 2008 after my mom, Marianne Wassel, was diagnosed with breast cancer. So she had been doing breast self-exams her entire life. Her older sister was an oncology nurse at Yale and would always say, Marianne, you have to do your breast self-exams. You have to know what is normal and healthy for you. So years and years later, my mom was doing a breast self-exam and she found a lump on her breast. And it wasn't there the last time she had done a breast self-exam. It was really small, but she went to the doctor and the doctor said, don't worry about it. Come back in a year. It's probably nothing. And my mom pushed back because she knew her body better than anyone else. And he didn't like that. So she sought a second opinion and then was told she had breast cancer in both breasts. And it was because she knew her body better than anyone else and was able to speak from a place of confidence that she even got a second opinion. So after her diagnosis, she sat me and my younger sister down. I was 13 years old and she said, girls, I'm gonna teach you how to do a breast self-exam. And we both looked at each other, and I was 13 and my sister Mary was 12. And we were like, Mom, we don't really have breasts. And she was like, yeah, I know, I can see, but one day you will, and you need to know what's normal and healthy for you. So she taught us how to do breast self-exams and then realized that this was important for all young women to have access to this information. So she went to my school nurse at the time, Mrs. Schultz, and said, "Hey, Mrs. Schultz, why don't we get that program that teaches how to do a breast self-exam in school that's completely free?" And Mrs. Schultz said, "Well, there's nothing like that." So my mom could not believe that. But she looked and she looked and she talked to all different medical professionals about, what programs were out there, and there was nothing. So that's when she started, she worked with a medical advisory board with breast surgeons, oncology nurses, school nurses, pediatricians to create the Daisy Wheel. So actually the Daisy Wheel is right here, which we'll get to, but the Daisy Wheel has 8 steps on how to do a breast self-exam. This is the cornerstone mission of the organization. And just a little bit fast forward to where we are right now, because I'm the one giving the presentation. And sometimes the students in the classroom like to know the different connection and, how did we get to where we are now, over 10 years later. So I did step up as president of the organization after my mom passed away in 2016. And I'm proud to be carrying on her mission and her life-giving legacy with this organization. It's been amazing to see the number of people that we can touch with this organization and our tools. We love that they are free and that they are accessible to everyone. And just some fun facts about me. Usually my hair is very pink. It has faded, but October's Breast Health Awareness Month is coming up, so watch out. And I was an athlete growing up. We've been featured in by many media outlets for the work that we do. But those are just some fun facts. So now on to the products. So we have 3 different products that all of you can use. So our Daisy Wheel is the tool, but what is the vehicle that will allow it to get to these students or different communities? So number 1 is our digital Daisy Wheel, which is in our educators toolkit, which is this presentation that I'm showing you right now. Number 2 is our in-school Daisy Wheel. So our in-school Daisy Wheel is paper. It's right here. You can order online. It's completely free to order. It will be shipped to your school. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to deliver. But right now, because of COVID-19, we're really pushing educators to use our digital tools that we have right now, just because it is more immediate and it's quick and easy to use, especially this presentation you can use on a smart board, but you can also use it on Zoom or Google Meets, whatever works for you. And then lastly, we have our Daisy Wheel app. So last year we launched our free Daisy Wheel app, which there will be more information in this presentation on how to download it. But it has the 8 simple steps of how to do a breast self-exam, which you'll see in this presentation as well. And then the great thing about it is that it will help keep breast self-exams routine, because you can set reminders that will sync to your calendar. So whether you want a monthly reminder, a bi-weekly reminder, or a weekly reminder to do your breast self-exam, it will help you make that a normal, healthy habit and part of your self-care routine. So the Daisy Wheel has 8 simple steps on how to perform a breast self-exam. It's displayed in a peekaboo window after a Gerber daisy petal, and it includes 8 visual steps on the back. But in the digital presentation and the app, there's a visual aid with that step. So another tool that we do have that is included with this presentation is our instructional video. So it's an 8-minute long video. It opens with a greeting from me, and then it shifts right into the classroom and is a health teacher in a classroom teaching a class our Daisy Wheel program, which teaches the 8 steps on how to do breast self-exam. So this is really popular because sometimes we have health educators who aren't familiar or comfortable teaching breast self-examination in the classroom. We've had gym teachers in schools where there might not be health teachers or health educators who really like this, because if they don't feel super comfortable, they can put this on. It will walk through how to do a breast self-exam. And then online, we have resources you can print out, like our discussion questions and fun quiz that you can give out to have, to help fill the class time. So now I feel like it's very appropriate to walk through the 8 steps of the breast self-exam on our Daisy Wheel. So step number 1, BSE, breast self-exam. Think of your breast as a daisy. So we have to remember that we are recommending this be taught to 5th graders and to 12th graders. So in 5th grade, when you're going to introduce breast self-examination, we want it to be as friendly as possible. And what's friendlier than a daisy? And thinking of your breast as a daisy. So step number 2, look at your breasts in the mirror. Hands on your hips, tighten your chest. Anything different, discharge, puckering, dimpling. So this is the step where we encourage people to take a look at what their breast tissue looks like. So the goal of the breast self-exam is to know what your normal healthy breast tissue looks and feels like. So this is where you look. In classrooms, I've seen a lot of questions around what discharge or puckering and dimpling is. So it would be really good to be equipped with how to explain what that would be if there are questions. So talking about like discharge as a white fluid, or dimpling, referring to how your breast tissue might feel like the skin of an orange peel. Step number 3, lying down, firmly press 3 fingers on your breast in a circular motion and examine each petal. So we say examine each petal to give the idea of moving around your breast. Step number 4, apply 3 different levels of pressure, light, medium, firm, with your finger pads to check your breast tissue. So in the classroom, I've observed this, that there's a lot of people who are quick to try and do a breast self-exam in classroom. So you might want to say, you could do the breast self-exam at home in private, but you can use your hand. And this is where you would take your finger pads and move around your hand. And you can apply the light pressure, the medium pressure, and the firm pressure. Sometimes we get people who just poke right into their hand as hard as they possibly can, where they're saying, ow, it should never hurt. So you want to say that it would never hurt. It's just firm enough where you can really feel your breast tissue when you do your breast self-exam. Step number 5, use each pressure level, light, medium, firm, on each petal before moving to the next. So that's where you rotate through the light and the medium and the firm pressure. Step number 6, start by your armpit and move down to just below your breast using the same circular motion in an up and down pattern, covering your whole breast. And then you repeat this on the other breast. So this is where a lot of students may not know that you actually have breast tissue underneath your underarm. So really great thing to say. You don't want to miss that spot while you're doing a breast self-exam. Step number 7, sitting or standing, raise your arm slightly and use the same circular motion with your finger pads to examine your underarm. And this is where we say standing in the shower is a great place to do this. So good place to do it in the shower or in front of a mirror. Step 8. This is a very important step of the daisy wheel. This is where you come in and say, did you see or feel something that concerns you? Reach out to a trusted adult or healthcare professional. So you can offer your support, your guidance, or your recommendations and resources as medical and health professionals. Again, we are only providing the tools, and this is where you can do what you feel is best for your classroom. Where you would want to direct people if they did do a breast self-exam and feel something that maybe wasn't normal or they had questions. This is always really important too, because this is where students feel build that trust and that relationship. So one of the reasons why I don't go around from classroom to classroom teaching breast self-examination is because it's more appropriate that the students have this relationship with the health teachers and the school nurses. So that way, if they do have a question, they can go to you. And it's not just me going in and leaving and I'm not there the next day if they do have questions. So this is a really, really important step. And step number 9, which is download the free Daisy Wheel app to keep breast self-exams routine all year long. So keeping in mind again that this is a customizable presentation, and depending upon the age group and the audience, you can take this slide out. So for example, if you're teaching to fifth graders and you don't feel it's appropriate to recommend that they download an app because they're only in fifth grade, you can easily take this out and delete the slide. But if you're teaching to 12th graders or any students in high school where it's appropriate to be able to recommend an app, you can go ahead, keep this slide, recommend that they keep it all year, keep breast self-exams routine all year long. And then this is a slide where we have our QR code. So if you're, doing it on Google Slides or, through Zoom or in the classroom, they can pull out their phone and quickly download it once they hold their phone up to scan the QR code below. So next we have our Daisy Wheel program fun quiz. So this is really popular, especially for younger classes, mostly in I'd say between 5th and 8th grade. So showing the video and then maybe following up with a fun quiz. So let's go through the questions. So the questions that we have: why was the Get in Touch Foundation's Daisy Wheel program created? To teach the importance of and how to do a breast self-exam for life. So, anything that's around that answer works. Number 2, think of your breast as what type of flower? And this is where everyone yells, a daisy. Okay, question 3, how many tips are on the Daisy Wheel? And there are 8 tips on the Daisy Wheel. Question 4, when you put your hands on your blank, the position of your breast change? And the answer is hips. Question 5, which parts of your fingers are used when performing breast self-exam? All of them? Finger pads, index, and middle fingers? Finger pads. When you perform a breast self-exam, it should never blank. And the answer is hurt. It should never hurt. Question 7, list in order the 3 types of pressure to use when performing a breast self-exam. Light, medium, and firm. Question 8, you should move your fingers in a blink motion when doing a breast self-exam. The answer is circular. Question 9, if you notice something different during a breast self-exam, what should you do? And the answer is tell a trusted adult. 10, where will you do your breast self-exam? So this varies. I just want to put that out there. So any acceptable or reasonable answer, like in the shower, in my bedroom, in front of a mirror, in a private setting, at home, completely acceptable. And then the next resource that we have here is a set of discussion questions. So this is, we find more popular for high school students, especially with educators or school nurses who want to be able to have an open discussion during maybe Breast Health Awareness Month coming up in October. So the question 1 that we have is, have you performed a breast self-exam before today? If so, who taught you? How old were you? And this is just to gauge what the students have been taught. So I'd say usually I go into a classroom or I hear through school nurses and health educators that most students, and by most I mean 95% of students, have never done a breast self-exam before, at least before they used our program. So number 2, who are some people you can talk to if you have questions about your breast health? And this is just a way to have the students think about, okay, so if they did have questions, who would they go to? Would they go to their school nurse, their health educator? Would they go to, a trusted adult at home? Who would that be? 3, why is it so important to know what your changing body looks and feels like? Really great open discussion here. Number 4, what should you look for when performing a breast self-exam? And this is where we like to stress just knowing what's normal. Like you are doing a breast self-exam to know what your normal healthy breast tissue looks and feels like. And if you do notice that is something different, no matter what it is, that's when you want to speak up. But we actually don't say cancer in anything that we have on our website, in any of our materials, because we just focus on health and health education and knowing what's healthy. But if you do notice something, that's when you want to speak up. 5, what should you do if you feel or see a change with your breasts or other parts of your body? This is where you say, speak up. 6, will you perform breast self-exams after today? Why or why not? How often? So this varies too, because some people say that they're afraid. Sometimes students will say, I'm afraid to do them because what if I find something? Or, how often are they going to do them? Some people have said in the past, well, I'm going to start by doing it once a week because I have no idea how to even get into the routine of doing it. And then eventually they might be able to do it, remember to do it monthly. 7, why do you think it's important for everyone to know about the importance of breast health? Again, this is something that varies from classroom to classroom. 8, what are some ways you can stay healthy? So again, another really great question of, doing your regular breast self-exams, eating healthy, based on the age group, the conversations might be different about what healthy means. 9, what do you like about the daisy wheel? And this is just to say, well, maybe they like the color pink and maybe they think it's really friendly. And the idea is that it's non-sexualized and it's just super friendly. So we're hoping that this is a way for the students to be able to talk about what they actually do like about it. 10, what is an easy way to keep breast self-exams routine all year long? So this is where it would be really helpful to, suggest the daisy wheel app if that was, age appropriate for the groups that you were teaching. And another way to get more involved is to be part of our International Get Your Pink On Day. So we understand that this year is a really different and unique year because these are unprecedented times. We have lots of health educators and school nurses who are planning to teach online through Zoom or Google Slides. And not all schools are in person like they were last year. So our Get Your Pink On Day is a grassroots fundraiser that has been hosted and held all across the world, from different schools to businesses, where people will wear pink and donate $1 to the Get in Touch Foundation. And this usually happens in October. Our personal International Get Your Pink On Day is the 3rd Friday in October every year. And this year it falls on October 16th. You can participate literally anytime you'd like. It could be tomorrow, it could be in November, or in the spring even. But this is where schools in different communities find very unique ways to wear pink, make a donation and get in touch, and talk about the importance of breast health education and awareness, especially going into October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is what we like to call Breast Health Awareness Month. This is just one great way to get involved. Additionally, you can learn more on our website at www.getintouchfoundation.org, or check us out on social media. This is where the kids are finding out what we're doing these days. And then ending with a short note from me, thanking everyone for valuing breast health and taking their health into their own hands through breast self-examination. Again, I want to thank you as educators for the work that you do, because it is so important. You are shaping the next generation. And we are so grateful for all the work that you do to make the world a better place. We are here to help in any way we possibly can. And so this is where I did want to open it up for questions to see what we can do to support you. Do you have any questions on how to implement, on different age groups, on best practices for teaching breast health? I'd love to answer any questions you have. Yeah, so feel free to put your questions in the chat box if you have any.
All right, anyone have any questions? Please type them in the chat box. It's so great to see what a lovely visual you've chosen, a concrete object that young people are very familiar with, especially for fifth graders who are really concrete thinkers. What's been the reception to that, Daisy?
The daisy, so it's been really popular just because it is so appropriate. And I think what's important is that it's non-sexualized, that it's very friendly, and especially it's free. So I'm seeing some questions about the material. Everything is available on our website. So I'm going to send the link to our website right now. You can feel free to explore. This is the link for our tools. So in our tools, you can, again, order our digital online Daisy Wheel Educators Toolkit, which is the presentation I just showed you right now. There is also another part of that, our tools link that I sent you, where you can order physical Daisy Wheels. Because of COVID-19, shipping of the Daisy might be slightly delayed. And just with the uncertainty of students going back to school and with distance learning, we are encouraging school nurses and health educators to stick to our digital tools for now, if they can. But if not, you can still order the Daisy Wheels online, and they are free. Everything takes about 1.5 to 2 minutes to order, whether it's the Educator's Toolkit, the physical Daisy Wheels, and then our Daisy Wheel app is on the App Store. All you have to do is search Daisy Wheel, and it'll pop up, download it, and it's free of cost. So everything's free, everything is accessible. And if you do have any questions, I'm gonna actually type in my email address down here, and personally reach out to me. I can help you with anything that you need. So my email address is betsy@getintouchfoundation.org. So I'm going to put that in the box below right here.
And Betsy, I don't know how well you can type and listen, but we have another question from Millie, and she's wondering how many years you've done the Get Your Pink On, and what does the money go toward that schools donate?
That is a great question. So we've been hosting Get Your Pink On days for, now it's been a little over 10 years. And what's amazing about this fundraiser is that schools from all over the world participate. So we have literally everywhere, and make donations, whatever people can donate. And the money goes directly towards printing and shipping of our Daisy Wheel. So the Daisy Wheel that we have here, they are completely free of cost. The printing, the shipping, the fulfillment, everything, we take care of that, because we want to make sure that this information is free and accessible to every single person that requests it. So the money goes towards our Daisy Wheel, and also the development of different tools like our Daisy Wheel app. Again, that's another amazing tool to make it free and accessible and immediate, and a tool that is able to take what they learn in the classroom with the Daisy Wheel and keep it routine all year long. That's the point, is to get people comfortable with their bodies. So the money goes towards the Daisy Wheel. We're also a very small team. We are a team of, I'm the only full-time employee, and we have 2 other part-time employees, but we are small but mighty. We have, like I had mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, our Daisy Wheel has reached over 1 million students in all 50 states and 34 different countries. So we've seen a huge demand for this information, because there is nothing like it, especially something that's appropriate out there. So that's where the money is donated. And we are so grateful to everyone who has participated in Get Your Pink On days. And in the past, it's a weird year, but usually we have schools or teams and communities that will have bake sales or sell like pink shoelaces, or a pink dress down day. Everything is so different, but again, we know it's a different year given the circumstances. So yes, that is my answer to your Get Your Pink On Day question.
Great. We have another question too. In your experience, who in the school is most likely to deliver this information? A nurse, a science teacher, health teacher? And also, does it differ depending on the level, being fifth grade and did you say eighth grade?
Fifth grade. So we have fifth through 12th grade as we
Oh,
recommend
okay.
this program.
All
Yep.
right.
Yeah. So great question. I think honestly, it varies from school to school because there are a lot of, so I actually live in New York City. So I'm here in New York City, and there are some schools that don't have school nurses. Just like there's a lot of schools all around this country that don't necessarily have a school nurse in each school. So in that case, there'd be a health teacher or someone who teaches science or gym. We've also had gym teachers teach this. That's where we found out that the video was really helpful, especially if they'd never taught breast health before. So that does vary. I'm trying to find the rest of this question here. And how does it differ depending on level? So depending upon the level, you can certainly use all of this information, whether it's the discussion questions or the video for fifth graders. But I think everyone knows their class the best. So some fifth graders, for example, might be more open to just the introduction of the daisy wheel and just the daisy wheel, along with, learning about their changing bodies and things like that. That's where we have a lot of health teachers who introduce this also when talking about menstruation. So it's not just like a breast health class, but more of like a changing bodies class. Whereas we see as students get older and are in high school, they have classes focused on solely breast health education. And we tend to see that more in October during Breast Health Awareness Month, where there might be like a pep rally where people are wearing pink, and the school is raising money for breast cancer, breast health awareness. And they want to really talk about, why is it important to know your body? And again, some of those discussions might be, if you use a discussion questions for eighth graders, you get pretty different answers than if you talked about them with 12th graders. So again, I think it's more catered to, your class and what you want. But I think that's what's helpful about this educator's toolkit that you can order online for free, is that you can just delete what you don't want to show, whether it's, the app or things like that we completely understand are going to differ for age groups.
So this question is my own question, and that is, what is the response from the boys in the classes?
You know what? So there are a lot of different schools that will separate the boys and the girls, but there's a lot of schools that teach breast health altogether because every single person has breast tissue. And then also we do find that certain communities say, well, there might be a few boys that have mothers who have or have had breast cancer, and that this is really helpful for them to hear and to know. I have a brother, and I remember when my brother was 11 when my mom was first diagnosed with breast cancer. And I remember my mom talking about how she was worried about me and my sister, and her oncologist had told her, and was like, Marianne, you realize that Eddie, he's 11, he has breast tissue as well, that this isn't just, something that, myself and my sister need to know about. This is something that everyone should know about. So depending upon the age, like in fifth grade, you might hear some giggles when you say breast, the word breast, giggle, 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 but that isn't limited to just boys. It's just a maturity thing too.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Feel free to type them in. While you are thinking of your questions, I will go ahead and share my screen again, I think.
You're already sharing, Wendy.
Oh, good. Thank you for that, Jeannie or Caitlin, whoever gave me that helping hand. We have a few announcements, but we'll continue to look for your questions and come back to those in just a moment if we have more questions. But we would be remiss if we didn't let you know that we have some If I can get it, there we go. Continuing education units that are offered for this workshop today. You'll get one CEU, and you can get those from NCHEC or NAPNAP for nurses, or you can get a participation certificate. They are free to members of ASHA, and you can get that by completing the webinar evaluation that will be sent to you. So be sure to watch for that and complete that to get your CEU. And then in addition, we have upcoming webinar. Whoops, I jumped ahead. Upcoming webinars. The next one is on September 22nd, and it will be about engaging youth in a comprehensive school physical activity program. And so be sure to sign up for that, and you can contact us with any questions at this phone number, or you can go to our website, and that website is where you will register for the upcoming virtual conference, or to ask any questions or get information about upcoming CEUs. And we have, I'm just checking the chat box to see if we missed any questions.
And
I have a comment that I want everyone to hear. I love that you use the daisy. We had model breasts in the classroom, and as young girls, we all just giggled over it. Yes, the giggle fest is timeless, isn't it? Is this the link to the evaluation that is in the chat box, Kate?
yeah, and I also want to let people know that they will get an email either later today or tomorrow that will include the evaluation in case you aren't able to get to it at this time, as well as the link to the webinar recording and any other resources that Betsy wants to send your way. So keep an eye out for that email.
Yes, thank you, Caitlin. I'll definitely get those resources to you. So health educators, feel free to forward that email along to anyone you think might be interested in them.
Great. Any parting questions or words? All right, if not, well, we would love to thank Betsy Nilan. Thank you so much, Betsy, for explaining the DAISY program to us. And I really appreciate all the hard work you're doing to help our young people stay healthy and informed. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me today. And I wish everyone the best, and stay healthy and safe.
Thank you.
Thank
You too.
you.